to my grave. Send me to my grave. Yes, yes, yes. I got a big mean woman.
Yeah, it's time I leave. Grab my keys, take the last shot of Jack for a hit.
Welcome, everybody. Hour number 3 of the Pro Wrestling Experience here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Just did a whole hour of interviews for Ring of Honor, and we got one more, saving the best for last. I've been wanting to have this guy on the show for a while. I've been a big fan of his work at AAW and, of course, at Ring of Honor. Former AAW and Ring of Honor World Champion, Michael Elgin. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, but it should have been former AAW Ring of Honor and soon-to-be second-time Ring of Honor World Champion, Michael Elgin.
Big Fatal 4-Way match coming up on March 1st. Tell us a little bit about this match. And obviously we got big powerhouses. You got you and Hanson, but we also got a wild card there with Tommaso Ciampa. Tell us a little bit about this Fatal 4-Way match.
It's my chance to regain something that I felt I should have never lost. It's a big match. It's worldwide on pay-per-view, and I think 4 of the best wrestlers in the world today going in one match for one prize, and that prize is the Ring of Honor World title, and I think it's safe to say that's the most coveted championship in wrestling today. So there's a lot on the line, and I have something to prove, I think, more so than anybody, because my goal is to be world champion, and unfortunately that was taken away from me a bit sooner than I had thought, and I think a lot sooner than many people would think. So I'm back there to kind of regain the throne and tell the world that, hey, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm the best there is at what we do.
Obviously, it's odd things that happened last year. I thought the title reign should have went a little bit longer. I think, obviously, you are the uncrowned champion. You never lost it. Tell us a little bit about your goals for this year, and how would you change what happened from last year to this year?
My goals this year is the same as every year. I just want to be remembered for my work inside the ring, and I'm going to give my all every time I step in the ring. I think wrestlers, especially in Ring of Honor, are remembered for a long time to come by their performances and by what they've given to Ring of Honor and by what they've given to Ring of Honor fans. So that's my mindset. We've had our ups and downs, but now I'm focused more so than ever to go in that ring and when I perform, have someone, if not everyone, talk about that performance well after it happened.
The 13th anniversary for Ring of Honor. I know you were a big fan of Ring of Honor before you joined the company. How does it feel to be in the main event of such a big show?
It's huge. Not only is it just the main event of such a big show, but it's my second singles main event in pay-per-view history for the company. So, that says a lot about my hard work, and that says a lot about the company believing in me to be in such a position for the second time now. I really feel that Ring of Honor is giving the talent and giving the wrestling world new platforms to view us and new platforms to see the best wrestling on the planet, and my hat's off to them for that. I'm happy to be back on pay-per-view, and I'm happy to be back in the driver's seat of going after the world title. Usually when you go into a title match, you're looking at the world champion and you're thinking how you're going to beat him. But in my view, Tommaso, Hanson, and Jay have to see how they're going to beat me.
I totally agree. Tell us a little bit about your training school out in St. Louis.
It's been going really well. My first class began last January, and through the thick and thin of it, only 2 students remained when it was graduation time. But I'm very proud of them. They've been doing very well. Danny Adams and Paco Gonzalez, they've been doing shows out in Chicago for AAW. They've done some appearances for Ring of Honor and many other companies around the Midwest, and they're really starting to travel now. So those 2, really show the work ethic and really show my teachings through their work. And the group of guys I have now have been doing really well, and I'm looking forward to see them get out there and get more shows and just kind of sink their teeth into professional wrestling. We have a new class starting April 6th. And as I said, man, it's just been going so well. We had a camp this previous weekend, a Ring of Honor seminar camp, and Delirious himself was very impressed with the guys that I've been training. So not only that, we very much spoke the same sentiments to everybody in the camp. I think we were both on the same page, and everything he had to say I agreed with, and everything I had to say he agreed with. So it just proves that, my teaching philosophies have been working. And I guarantee that any and all of my students that come through the doors, I may not be the best wrestler in the world, I may not be the best trainer, but I promise that everything I know and everything I can teach, I'm putting out there to be available to anybody that wants to learn from me.
It's kind of interesting because you're not old. Your days in the ring is not over yet. But tell us a little bit about why you want to start the training, and was there different aspects of the business that you wanted to be a part of instead of just being the wrestler?
Yeah, training's fun for me. Not only is it teaching someone new things, it's also a refresher for you. And I feel that since opening the school, I've become a better performer because it's 3 times a week reminding myself of everything that I think is valuable in pro wrestling, and that really helps. And I was fortunate enough to have a lot of great teachers along the way. I had a lot of people that took the time to speak with me and took the time to pass down their knowledge. And anytime I see a trainer who might not feel that way, a trainer that really doesn't give his all or critiques things in a mean way rather than, oh, maybe you shouldn't have done that, try it this way next time. It kind of angers me, Trainers should be looking out for not only the guys they train, but wrestling as a whole. We need to make sure that wrestling is in good hands for when our careers are up. You mentioned my career is not close to over, and it definitely isn't. I'm 28 years old, and I still have a lot to give and a lot to offer, but for the future, I want guys just to learn the right way, and I want them to know my philosophies that you have to get out there, you have to travel, you have to train hard, you have to pay your dues, and that's important. The biggest thing to me is I know, trainers of my past may have went about things the wrong way. Instead of, as I said, kind of lending a helping hand, they're sitting in the back giggling and saying, what is this guy doing in the wrestling ring? He doesn't deserve to be all this. If you feel someone's not up to snuff as a trainer, you should try to guide them into the right way. And when people don't do that, it just kind of irritates me. So I felt that maybe opening up a school, I could, help out people that decide to train with me, and also, just give a lending hand when I'm on the road and I see somebody wrestling, and maybe I see something that I could give some advice on.
What we do here in the Pro Wrestling Experience, we like to obviously have guests, and I take more of the opportunity to learn from the guests instead of going off stuff on the internet. I do my study just based off watching stuff on TV. I like to promote the positives in wrestling. I think that's kind of hard to stand out in today's society because there's a lot of shows out there. I just think my brand is to stand out and promote the positives. You don't have to be put in a corner as far as what type of wrestling fan you are. Do you think wrestling's taken for granted today?
That's hard to really answer. Just because right now I feel it's such a huge time for wrestling. Independents are really growing. The fan base is getting larger in those shows. I know shows that I've done for years are progressively getting more and more fans in the doors, and maybe it is at a little bit, taken advantage of, and people just don't realize, the special things they have sometimes in their own backyard. Some people tend to take things for granted, and us as wrestlers take shows for granted. It's just a kind of a cruel cycle of that. Once you really appreciate what you have so close to home, it kind of opens your eyes in a different way. So I think maybe in a sense it is taken for granted, but then on the other side of the coin, I think people really truly realize the talent that's out there now and the talent they're going to see grow at these local shows and, soon perform on such a large level. And I think we're seeing that with, Ring of Honor and NXT and stuff like that. All these guys that you've seen for years are just leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the pack and really lighting the wrestling world on fire.
Who you say you had the most chemistry with in Ring of Honor? Who brings the best out of you?
I really feel that Ring of Honor has got a great roster, and in saying that, it's hard to have bad chemistry with anybody on the roster. But people that stand out are Kyle O'Reilly, Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, and Kevin Steen for sure.
I remember first time I seen you perform was at Day of Defiance 2013. It was you and ACH against Team Ambition. Do you remember that match?
I do very much, yes.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool one. How would you describe your time in AEW, and how would you compare AEW to other independent organizations?
My time in AEW and AEW as a company definitely holds a special place in my heart. In 2012, I had some really good performances in Ring of Honor, and I kind of felt, left out of the picture when it came to the opportunity I was getting in 2012. And I understood that because in 2012, Kevin Steen was back on his return, and he was undoubtedly, the top star in professional wrestling. You had your Davey Richards, your Eddie Edwards, you had Jay Lethal, and all these guys who were cemented in the top spot, and I was just trying to get there. And AEW kind of put their faith in me as a top guy, and I really appreciated that, and allowed me to, get used to being the main attraction of a company and what it takes to be a champion and how you have to present yourself as a champion. So they definitely hold a special place in my heart, and I think, as I said, just about all wrestling promotions now are truly growing, and it shows with them. They're getting huger audiences. They're getting some of the best shows that you can see on the independent level, and they just continue to grow, and I'm really happy for their success.
Which rivalry did you prefer or you had most fun with? The one with Shane or with Silas?
Personally, the one with Silas, and that's just because that was kind of my breaking out period, and that's somebody that I have, a great chemistry with, to the point where I wish I could have a longer, feud with him in Ring of Honor, just because he's so talented. And I think, in many senses, even though fans, get behind him in the way they're supposed to, I think he's underappreciated as an in-ring talent. Truly a great mind, and just someone that right off the bat we had amazing chemistry with. And I really look back at those matches and that time with Silas in the ring as some of my favorites, actually, in my career.
If people are interested in taking a part of your training school for your next class in April, how can people sign up?
You can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. Mm-hmm. And the school email is elgintrainingsystems@gmail.com.
Is there any guys on the roster right now for ROH that you haven't wrestled, or let me mix it up, actually, that or anybody from the independents that you wish were in Ring of Honor right now?
I really truly think that I wrestled everybody on the roster. Maybe Dijak, because he just won the prospect tournament, and I look forward to mixing it up with him. Mm-hmm. Also, I always like picking up guys that are bigger than me, and I think I proved that with Moose recently, that no matter who I'm in there with, I'm going to pick them up. Mm-hmm. But the rest of the roster, I think I've been in the ring with. To be in Ring of Honor, I'd love for Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee to be full-time, Josh Alexander and Ethan Page, Lewis Linden, and Arya Davari for sure.
All right, Michael. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Talk to you later.